What's up, everybody? Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this market update. In the evening, a little bit later, I had a bit of a busy day. So if I seem a bit tired, then that's it. But I will still do my best to make this a valuable video. Talking about the markets here, we'll talk about Bitcoin, we'll talk about XRP, and we'll talk about some altcoins. Altcoins at this point of time. Look, the entire market today was actually quite, in my experience at least, was quite quiet, was quite boring. And what you can see right now is as well is that a lot of altcoins right here are very correlated, right? So it makes the most sense to do a deep dive into Bitcoin, talk about what's going on there, talk about the possibilities, and then from there we'll talk about one at least altcoin narrative slash category that I wanted to talk about that has been quite strong over the course of today, and at this point of time is actually still decently strong, although it's obviously not rallying, as you can see. But first of all, talking about the news, like I said, I mean, the markets are pulling back a little bit here. But ultimately, there's no major news event, I think, that's causing this. I mean, you can see that the S&P 500 right here is pretty stable. There's no major movement. I mean, obviously, it's a red candle, but ultimately, it's very, very stable. We still have those imbalances left to the downside, so if we're going to fill those, then that's going to provide or that's going to cause bearish pressure for crypto as well. But like I said, at this point of time, I wouldn't say that there's any reason to be very worried about this. You can also see that the volatility index is quite low over the course of this week. Bond yields are going up. That's interesting. All right, we'll definitely talk about that a little bit more. But for now, I wouldn't say that's too much of a reason to worry, since gold is also still dropping down, and in general, instability, I would say, is still on the decline. So ultimately, the market as a whole, talking about news, talking about fundamentals, still seems pretty good. Only Bitcoin is pulling. Well, it's not necessarily Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is acting exactly like we predicted. I mean, it's stable. I mean, we've dropped down a little bit over the course of today, but when I made the video in the morning, it was right here, right? So we're back at that same level. The one thing that is happening though is that the Bitcoin dominance is going up slightly here, after being bearish for the majority of the last 7 days, right? So that's causing altcoins to be a bit weaker here. However, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, Bitcoin is completely stable, and altcoins are moving. They're moving together, but they're moving very differently from Bitcoin. Now, by the way, I have something weird here. I should have it like this. Yeah, so you can see Bitcoin is by far the strongest performer right now, and altcoins are kind of moving under that. But taking a look at Bitcoin, I expect stability. All right, the most important level right here is first of all at 102.5 thousand. That's the first support level. To be fair, I think the most important support level is right here between 101,500 and 102,000. There we have the weekly rolling VWAP, we have the 200 EMA, and we have that blue area, which is the value area low back from January into February. So as long as we hold that as support, we're fine. And at this point of time, given the fundamentals and given the price action from Bitcoin in the last week and a half, I would say it's most likely that, or at least it's a possibility we drop down into that. And the momentum in the market right now certainly seems to suggest that we're going to drop down into that level. But I don't really see any reason why we should break down below that. So from there, I expect support. It's a little bit annoying that these arrows are all green, but from there I expect support, and I expect a move back into our main resistance level right now at 104.9 thousand. And I've spoken about this on X, I think, but my preferred buy area would be right here at 100,500. So do I expect the price to get into that? No, but I would say that's a deviation big enough. What we also saw, for example, on Monday, that if we drop down into that looks like a great buy. All right, and if we drop down below 101.5 and reclaim that in general, that would also be a great opportunity. But that remains to be seen. For now, short term for Bitcoin and therefore also for altcoins, bearish pressure seems most likely, but ultimately I do think that support will hold. Now, talking about XRP, I think this morning we were correct about XRP because what I said is that we broke above our main resistance level at 2.61. But I said, all right, I think it's a little bit more likely that this is a bit of a fake out, or that we need more momentum. So I think it's most likely will drop down. I think that's going on right now. All right, I think XRP is very much in tune with what Bitcoin is doing, and therefore a drop into this main support level at 2.5. Potentially after that into 2.45 in the area around that, to find support, to find stability, and then eventually to get a move into 2.75, 2.85. Now, talking about altcoins, like I said, a lot of altcoins right now are just very correlated to Bitcoin and to the markets. There's one narrative that was quite strong over the course of today, and that I still think has some potential, and that is the Solana ecosystem narrative. All right, so then there's two coins, and both of these at this point of time I would not buy, but I would keep them on your watch list. And that's, first of all, Jito. Jito was showing some strong momentum late last week, but you can also see on the higher time frames that we have broken back above a key support level right here at $1.9 and $2. And given the volume, given the momentum we've seen from there, I expect that to hold, all right? And then there is a huge amount of upside potential, and the same goes for Jupiter, all right? So Jupiter, you can see the same thing. I would wait for a reclaim here of 58.5 cents, but ultimately looks very good, either if we reclaim that or if we get a deeper pullback into 45 and 50 cents. So those are my thoughts. I think that's what you need to know. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.